Yo, what is up, YouTube? My name is Aaron, and today I have a brand new life story for you. We're going to talk about the time that I broke out of daycare. That's right. I broke out of daycare. I don't know about you guys, but before I went to school, or not before I went to school, but before kindergarten, I would go to like a daycare of the morning, right? It was just daycare. Some people go to preschool. It's a thing, right? So I would go to this place that was relatively close to where I live. Now, my mother, she works about an hour away from where we lived, all right? So she would drop me off and then she would go to work, right? So it'd be early in the morning. And this one morning I got there, right? And we had this van. And my favorite part about the van was in the middle of like the passenger and driver seat and to the next seats was this big lane that you could almost walk in. I mean, I could at my age. I don't think you would be able to now. Maybe just like hunker over and get to the back or to the front, wherever you needed to be, right? So I would, and there were vents there. There were like 3 vents that were on each side. So there was a total of 6 vents in that little lane, right? And it just warmed that lane. And of the morning, like especially on cold mornings, you could lay down right there in the heat, and it would just be so warm, and I love that. Never wanted to leave that little spot of the morning. So my mom dropped me off at daycare, and I was just like, oh, I don't want to be here. And I've asked before. I was like, can I just not go today? And just that never worked. So you know what I did? I was like, all right, I gotta bust out of this place. I gotta get out of here because I don't want to be here today. So dropped off, and my mom was actually talking to the owner of the place, right? And I was like, okay, so right over here is the door that we go outside to play. And I opened up the door, went outside. So I was outside in the playground, but that playground, it's fenced in, right? So I ran over to the side, hopped over the fence, and then went up to the van, opened up the back, like the 5th door in the back that goes to the cargo, the trunk, I guess you would call it. Opened up that, everything was unlocked, and I hopped in the back, right? So I hopped in the back, and then I was like looking out the window. I was like, okay, here's my mom. She's coming back in. Got back in, started the van. So I'm just laying down back there. I thought like, yeah, I'll be able to go home now. Like I could stay at home and play with all my toys. And we were driving for a little bit, and I fell asleep, right? Because it was early in the morning. I fell asleep back there, and I woke up, and it was daytime, right? It was daytime. And I was just looking around outside of the van, and I was in an unfamiliar place. And at this time, I knew that it was where my mom worked, but I've never been there before, right? So I like, where am I? Just looking around, just no one was in the van. Mom already left going to work, and I was like, oh no, I've messed up. I have no idea where I am. And just I got out, right? I got out, and I'm just some little kid, right? Just some little kid. I'm wandering around the parking lot, and I'm just like, where do I go? And I went into a building, and the person was like, hi, can I help you? And I was like, I'm looking for my mom. She's like, well, who's your mom? And I told her who my mother was. And she's like, all right, well, let's see if I can't find her. So she's went out to go and try to find her. And like, next thing I know, like, doors are slamming, mom's running. And I hear she's like, I gotta go. I gotta go. Aaron's not at daycare. They don't know where he is. They don't know how long it's been since they've seen him. I was like, hey, mom. Just, how did you get here? What happened? I was like, I did not want to be in trouble for like riding in the back of the van. So I was like, and if you guys can see this from my early years, I never wanted to get in trouble. I'm still like that. I am the most like anti-trouble person. Like I just don't get in trouble because I know how not to get in trouble. I can have a fun time, but just not get in trouble, right? So I was just like, oh, I walked here. And she's like, you walked here? Just, and at this time it's probably noon. Like it's 12 o'clock, and I would have gotten dropped off at like 7 o'clock in the morning. So I was there for like 4 or 5 hours, depending on how long it's been at the exact time. But I remember mom just like, she's like, how? What happened? Did they let you out, or just I was like, and at this point I knew because she was calling like the daycare and like, it's okay, I found him. I was just like, well, I snuck out whatever you dropped me off, and I hopped back into the back and fell asleep. So she actually went home. She took me completely home. She took a day off, or the rest of the day off, and I get to play at home for a little bit. That was like my big break, and I have a lot of other stories that came from that daycare that I remembered when I was forming this story. So let me know down below what else you guys want to hear. Give me some topics again, and we'll see if you're featured in the next video tomorrow. So if you guys enjoy these live stories, I have two great ideas for this channel. One you guys are going to see very soon, and the other I'm still working on to make sure it's perfect. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoyed this race that I built. If you want to play it, it's on the social club website at Rockstar. But peace.